Hello, we're in Dr. Buick's sales management class. We're going to be covering case 1.1, Valley Winery, and we are team 1. My name is Jamie Schieswall, and my teammates are Christian Allen, Alexander Von Hebel, Emma Twardzik, Ryan Pegler, and Michael Casimos.
Here's the table of contents. We'll be talking about Napa Valley, California, our company facts, case summary, sales structure, company issues, possible company solutions, and our conclusion at the end.
Okay, we're going to give you a little background information on Napa Valley, California. It was the first American viticulture area established, and that happened in 1881, and that essentially, viticulture means an area designated for growing wine grapes, essentially. Only 4% of all the grapes produced for wine that are grown in California come from Napa Valley, and it contributes to $50 billion of the U.S. economy. The amazing thing about Napa Valley is that there are 430 different physical wineries there, and essentially all of them are family owned, but they produce over 800 different types of wine, which is why this company is so successful.
The Valley Winery was founded in 1933 in Napa, California. It is the largest domestic producer of wine in the United States. The company only started with $7,500 in investments at the end of Prohibition. It has become the leading producer of low-price, consistent quality wines. Their top-of-the-line wine includes Santiago Rey and Valley Premium Table Wines. In 2012, the revenue was $1.8 billion off of sales of wine. They are the largest wine producer in the United States. The Valley Winery is also believed to be the best managed and most innovative companies.
The organization of the San Francisco division is pretty typical. It has 3 major sales groups. The first group calls on liquor stores and bars. This sales group is made up of mostly career-type people who are older, and they get paid a straight commission of 6% on sales. And they're almost all male. About 95% of this group is male. The second group calls on restaurants, resorts, hotels, and motels, and things like that. This group's predominantly female, and they're paid a salary of $41,508 to $48,544, plus the use of a company car. And the third group is a chain division. They pretty much call on chain stores and grocery stores and stuff like that. So their salaries range from $47,841 to $54,876. And the chain group is considered the major source of future sales managers. And this group's 99% male, so it's very majority male. And within the San Francisco division, sales organization has experienced a lot of changes. And the changes have happened mainly in the chain division, which you'll see examples of in the following slides. As you see on the current slide here, their original structure was separated into a wine division and a Cool Valley division, which essentially separated products by wine and then wine cooler products into the other category. So it was pretty simple, and that's what they started with and had used up until 2011. Early in 2012, Carl Romans, who is a leading sales manager, decided to revamp the structure from the wines and wine cooler categories to premium and vintage product categories. So the premium products were their higher class wines, obviously, and their vintage products were the cheaper wines and the wine coolers that they continued to make. We don't believe that the company experienced much success with this sales structure, considering that Carl would change it again in the same year, which you'll see on the next slide. So you'll see on this slide yet another change to the sales structure, which was brought about not even 6 months after the prior one. And this was brought about because of poor performance due to the last structure. So who knows what that could have been about, but this one was introduced to focus on key customers, which were classified into major accounts. And so sales reps would either be calling on it essentially made the best sales reps would call on the biggest accounts. The way these reps sell to these chains is fairly simple and self-explanatory. Each rep is responsible for reaching a monthly display quota on each of the products, except the problem with this is these products and quotas are constantly changing, which brings about some inconsistency. And the other thing is, seemingly, that these quotas have been mostly unattainable, which has been in part to lead to the high turnover rates.
On this slide, we will talk a little bit about the main company issues. One of the biggest problems is the high turnover rate, which almost reaches 100% per year. The high turnover rate is caused by a high pressure on the sales force. Furthermore, the company faces gender inequality, and 2 out of 3 sales divisions are mainly represented by male sales representatives. Due to the high turnover rate, the Winery Valley has high recruitment and training costs of $33,000 per year and per rep. Another problem is that the quotas are not smart and almost impossible to reach, which leads the reps to unethical behavior. The sales force used to cut corners by lying about sold displays or replacing and damaging competitors' displays. 2 changes in the sales structure within 6 months makes it almost impossible for the sales force to adapt, and is another reason for depression among the sales force. In the following, we will present the solutions for each problem.
Over this slide, we're going to discuss some solutions to the high turnover rates that have been happening. These include quota and incentive restructuring, assessment and feedback to reps, more empowerment to the reps, more individual-based salary and compensation, a less competitive work environment, and better relationships between sales reps and managers. Our reasoning behind the quota and incentive restructuring is, in Figure 4 of the case, the reps seem to have a really difficult time with reaching their quotas, and after several months of this low performance comes their termination. We believe assessment and feedbacks from the sales reps will help shed light on restructuring quotas and creating new incentives to fulfill these quotas. With regards to individual-based performance, like compensation, so commission, for example, we believe that maybe reducing salary slightly and increasing commission might create some more drive to sell their products. And with regards to manager and rep relationships, if the better these are, and the better they can communicate between one another, then the better the monthly sales process should go altogether.
Another huge issue with the company is the gender inequality. Possible solutions to change this are hire more female sales representatives, obviously, but find new alternatives to the selection process for hiring sales reps, and also assign equal gender ratios to certain departments and territories within the company. By changing the hiring process, you can refrain from hiring based off of looks and youthfulness and hire based off of more of qualifications. Because females are so successful in sales, it is obvious that there is a disconnect in the hiring process, which has now led to a male-dominant sales division. The San Francisco division should consider the add of the female perspective to the chain sales division force.
This slide is about solutions for recruitment and training costs. First of all, the Winery Valley should consider to change the hiring methods. This means that the outsourcing of the hiring process should be stopped due to the high costs. The new hiring process should include the appropriate sales team or sales reps, and the company should broaden their approach for new sales reps. This means that not only college graduates and applicants from agencies should be accepted, but also reps from other companies or competitors. Furthermore, the Winery Valley should consider to shorten the process in order to save time and money. Saving money on the hiring process can open new possibilities in training for the sales force, especially in ethical behavior and selling techniques. By implementing better training, it will also help to decrease the turnover rate, and the trainings should be done at least on a yearly basis.
So here we're going to discuss the solution to no SMART incentives or quotas, and everybody here should know the SMART acronym. The first thing is creating realistic and attainable quotas for the sales reps. This will in turn, drive sales and give them a reason to sell, because with unreachable quotas, the majority of reps are going to sit around and not see the need to go out and sell because they don't find it to be beatable. A CRM system to help create a pathway for these goals is important to us, because this gives sales reps a time-oriented and quantifiable grand scheme to look at their past performance and current performance, which in turn will help them drive sales upward. Not only will this increase sales, but it'll create a more freedom-oriented environment for the actual sales rep. They won't have managers necessarily calling them or meeting with them constantly. If they can see this information for themselves, they might get a call if they're performing poorly, but this should create a little more distance between the sales rep and the manager in a positive fashion. We mentioned training for managers with regards to implementing a CRM system, which training should be streamlined regardless if a new system is implemented, but it's important that the manager knows exactly how they work, if not better than any of the sales reps.
Solutions for unethical behaviors start with challenging but achievable goals for selling displays instead of unrealistic ones. In addition, the Winery Valley needs to create a code of conduct to avoid further misbehavior by their sales force. The code of conduct should cover all possible problems that can occur in the workplace. A closer relationship between the sales management and the sales reps will help building a team or family feeling in the company, which should also avoid an unethical attitude. The goal is that no one feels that he or she has to cheat in order to keep the job or getting recognition for good work. Additionally, the company needs to start training on ethical behavior for the current sales force, which helps them to understand why unethical behavior is wrong in the world of business. In the end, the inventory should be taken after the sales have been closed in order to keep an accurate record.
Now the solutions for the changes in the sales structure will be covered. Further changes in the sales structure must absolutely be avoided so that the sales force has a chance to adapt it. If the management feels the need for changes, they should consider only minor changes within the system instead of changing the whole structure. At the moment, the Winery Valley is using a customer-based sales structure. This structure makes sense because the Winery Valley deals only with a B2B business model, and the customer base is not comparable with the B2C business model, which has a lot more smaller customers, which would make this model unpractical. Feedback from customers and employees are very important to reflect on the current structure. Moreover, feedbacks will help if the structure needs to be modified or altered. In the end, the Winery Valley should trust the system. The following slide will cover our conclusions.
In conclusion to our case analysis, we've determined four main things. The first one is to maintain the same sales structure. We believe this is important because it already focuses on the major accounts and it's oriented towards them, and we believe this is a good way to structure their sales force. Secondly, creating smart sales performance objectives is extremely important because this gives the sales reps a way to understand their goals and believe that they can actually achieve their monthly sales goal, as opposed to before where they would have, whatever quota for whatever product for whatever month, and they varied so much that it seemed that the reps had a really hard time keeping up with this, which also led to a number of ethical issues, as you saw before. Thirdly, we believe that increasing the female participation in the sales force is extremely important, especially with regard to how well females do in the sales business. By doing this, it not only adds a new perspective to the sales force, but it'll better the competition, it'll increase sales, and it'll create a better workspace for everybody. And finally, we believe that implementing a CRM system will add on to the SMART performance objectives in a way that it gives reps and managers the ability to quantify what has been done in past months and the current month, and it'll give reps a pathway to achieving their goals, which is one of the hardest pictures to paint for a sales rep. So maintaining the same structure, creating smart performance objectives, increasing female participation in the sales force, and implementing a CRM system all go back to the solutions we mentioned earlier and are all main points of improving this San Francisco division's profitability.
Thank you all for watching. We enjoyed your attention.